Hey guys, this is Jung, Ethan, coming to you guys from Minecraft, to tell you that this podcast is going to be separated into chapters, meaning that there will be YouTube chapters along the timeline that will tell you what we're talking about. So I made it easier for you guys to navigate what we're talking about, and so that you guys don't have to listen through the whole thing or try to skip through the whole thing. You could just skip to the part that you guys are interested in. I recommend you do listen to the whole podcast because it's very interesting to see our perspectives on everything. But yeah, here we go, and I'm gonna transfer to the intro. Oh, space.
Hey everyone, welcome to our first and possibly last podcast. I'm Jung Andrew. If I could have everyone here introduce themselves.
Everyone, my name is Jung An.
I'm Caitlyn. Welcome.
What's good? Jung Ethan.
Hi, June Jackie.
Hey, Jung Do.
And today's topic is going to be about relationships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, we got an
Yeah.
intro. So, yeah, welcome to our little podcast. Thank you for coming out. Took a while for us to get online, but here we are. Okay. Yeah, so this podcast, its theme is going to be about relationships. So pretty much we're going to just be talking about whatever relationship. So I guess introduction. I mean, again, like everything is going to be kind of chopped up or like pieced together and edited. So it's not necessarily like 2 hours of us just talking, because then I'm pretty sure like there are going to be awkward breaks in between when we talk. So for myself, my relationship experience is I've dated three other people.
Wow.
And wow, yeah, two. So that's two people for Julie, and then right now I'm in a relationship with Julie. She's been my girlfriend for 6 years. So in this upcoming February, we'll be together for 6 years.
Wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Long time.
Wow.
Impressive.
Way too long.
Way too long.
That's cute.
Yeah. If anyone wants to go around and share how many relationships they. Fine. Dude, you go first.
Yeah. Dude.
Alright, I've had two girlfriends, one before my current. My current is Jessica, and we've been together 4.5. Still way too long.
Way too
Way
long.
too long.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels longer than I remember.
It really does, but not 4.5.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yay.
4.5 years? Oh my gosh.
4.5.
Is that a lot?
I mean,
well,
I mean, if you're like in high school, like
Well, high
It's
school,
like-
high school, yeah.
years is like a long time, man.
Yeah, high school, dude. If I hear like a high school relationship in the years, I'm like, word, man, you guys get married, dog. Like,
I think college is like
a lot to you, Ethan.
2 to 3 years in college is a long time, right? For
It
dating
is.
someone.
'cause you go through a lot
in
during
college.
those years.
Jackie.
Yeah, yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
next person. I think yeah, you're the next person who's in a relationship.
I've been in 2 relationships before. No, 3 past a relationship. This is my 4th one right now. I'm dating Dylan from PX, and we've been
Shout out.
together for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 3 years in July.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
It's a long time if you think about it. Like I dated what it was my senior year.
I remember. I was there.
Oh, Ethan knows.
Next.
So wait, he's 1 year younger than you, right?
No, he's 1 year.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
Older?
Yeah.
Younger?
No,
or
1
older?
year younger.
Oh, okay.
younger.
younger. All right, Ethan. What's your or what's your history with romance?
Bruh, what do you mean?
History with
You brought me
romance.
on here to balance it out, man. I've had none. Come on.
Ethan, how do you find girls?
I don't.
girls have you
Dude,
tried to
I
talk to?
haven't had
Yeah.
one before. Like
How many girls have you tried to talk to? Like, actually?
Like,
three.
Three?
Three. I don't know. Like they either ended up just like being disinterested or like I was just like they're kind of not the vibes, you know?
Okay.
We can go into detail later.
Oh,
We're still doing intros.
Yeah,
we're
I
just
want to hear the
doing it.
juicy details, Ethan.
Yeah.
they're not that juicy, right?
And then Caitlyn.
I've been in 2 of relationships. Yeah. And my longest one was this is so awkward. My longest one was almost 4 years. And then yeah, just 2.
For one
so what-
from me then.
All right. So, what do you guys consider like official relationship? Like, are we talking about like for high school? I think it would be like Facebook. Who is this?
This is that.
This is
Kyle.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Okay.
I think actual relationship is if they actually ask you, like, will you be my girlfriend or like boyfriend?
So that's official.
That's official.
That
So
for
you
me,
guys
at
both-
least for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
if
you
they
have to
both
like
agree on
actually
that.
ask
I feel
them.
like it has to be like a mutual agreement, you know? Like isn't that like a well-defined
Well,
thing?
yeah.
Isn't it like a well-defined
I
thing?
mean-
Like I don't think it's that hard, right? Like you both look at each other one day, like you've been hanging out for like I don't know, like 2 months. You're like, man, hey, man, we really like each other. Like, can we date? And I'm like, yeah. And if the other party says no, then like it's not a relationship. But if they both agree, like that's it, right?
That's
Okay, so
basically
my-
I
asking each
totally
other
agree
though.
on that, Ethan.
Are you
Well,
serious?
so-
Like you would just put people actually just posted like I'm in this relationship with someone, and then
Okay,
like the other person's
dude.
like, oh man, this is like really weird. But
Yo,
actually, like
a lot of high schoolers
dating.
do that.
Oh my! dude,
Really?
oh no!
Yeah.
All high schoolers go through that phase where they post about their relations. They're like, oh my god, I'm dating John, and they have like 3 pictures with them, and then once they break up after like 2 weeks, they like delete all the pictures.
That's so accurate. Like on Instagram, they'll post, and then once you break up, you delete all their picture and take like their initial like off your bio.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
that's the thing.
I think it has to be at least Facebook official then.
Facebook official.
Okay, but I don't care for Facebook. My relationship isn't on Facebook.
Same.
Like
But if you have the
so-
time to actually like change it on Facebook, I mean,
Nah, man.
But-
Nah, dude. If
I
Facebook,
don't know, dude.
Facebook is not the end all be all, dude. I think if we're talking about like a certain certification within like a social group, if your immediate friend group knows and approves, but like knows of the dating relationship, then I'd say like that's a good checkpoint.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
I would
check-in.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like,
If you're friends,
because I don't post anything on social media.
Yeah.
I post nothing.
Yeah. So according to your thing, so Thu doesn't currently have a girlfriend right now.
it's Facebook official, man.
Pretty much. I've been single.
He if you go on his Facebook, all his comments are with Jessica.
Right, but it's not. But we're not Facebook
Dude,
official.
Yeah, not
nobody goes
Facebook
into the
official.
comments and be like, "Oh man, Jessica's been commenting on Thu's posts a lot, man. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Okay, I actually do that, but like,
Yeah. In the old days, you used to find out who was dating through Snapchat. Like, do you remember when you could see everyone's like Snapchat best
oh my
friend?
gosh.
Oh, no.
And then-
One on Snapchat.
I wasn't
Yeah,
that
but like
popular,
you're your
bro.
friend's number 1, and
But
then
that's-
you move
isn't that-
down to number 2.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
but
only
you
if
know,
you
like, people-
consistently
That's,
snap them?
Yeah, so it's like if you consistently snap them, you'll be in their best friends, and like if they don't snap you back, you won't be in yours, but like you'll be in theirs if you send them a lot of snaps.
Mhm.
The way like
So it's been times
Snapchat
when-
used to work.
Mhm.
That's such a
'Cause
bad way.
There's been times where Jessica wasn't in my best friend on Snapchat, but Justin was.
Dang, so are
Oh.
those two guys dating?
real cute.
I'm just pointing out the flaw in Snapchat. That's all.
I mean, I was just gonna cover like how we all met our SOs and like
All right.
as more of an introduction and background. All right. Well, for me, I met Julie at UCR. We were actually in the same dorm together. Like UCR, they split up the dorms by like they split it up by like majors or like whatever your specialty or whatever you're going to. So they have like general dorms, but there's like more like learning community type style where it's like specific majors are supposed to like live it together. So like biology or like the STEM hallway and things like that, or like the engineering hallway. So I met Julie like literally on my first day, and I guess the people like in her room, they were like playing a card game and they were like trying to get other people to play. So she got dared in that card game, and then she roped me because I was like the only Asian guy, I guess, inside my room. So I got roped into that card game, and I started playing with her, and then we started talking, and then she was like, I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And then I was like, "Oh, I'm from Orange," and she's like, "Oh, I'm also from Orange." And then also found out that she's like Peter and Paul's cousin. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So we started talking about like LP, and then we kind of just like, school started and whatever, and then we started talking a little bit, and then I started talking to some other girl. But then like in the meantime, like she would ask me, like she would text me like, "Hey, do you want to get breakfast in the morning?" I was like, "Oh, dude, someone wants to eat breakfast with me? Sure, dude." And then like years later, she was like, like I really liked you, and I just really want to spend time with you. So I was like asking if you want to go to breakfast, and I was like, "Oh man, I totally did not know you liked me. That was like your way to like get to know me more." And then after a while, she dated someone else, I dated someone, and then both of our relationships like kind of didn't work out. And then yeah, we just got together. Like it was actually funny because she went to she was at Tustin during one of the teal camps a while back, and she was there with Tustin, and I was there helping out with our church, with our dawn stuff. And then we just started talking, and then after camp I pretty much asked her out. So
That was cute.
that,
So
that
she
was like
made the first move.
that was like sophomore year. But dude, I totally like, she was like, yeah, she like signed up the same classes with me. She like tried to get to know me more, like through everything, and I was like, oh dude, I made a friend. Sweet. It's like, yes. I was
to go to class with every day.
I was, yeah, exactly. I was like, oh dude, someone wants to hang out with me.
Word?
This is great, man. A girl wants to hang out with me.
Crazy.
That's a lesson for the girls. Like, girls can still ask guys out.
Dude,
There's
she
nothing wrong with
hardcore pursued you.
Wow.
Yeah, she was the one that pursued. But I mean, like freshman year, it was like total scuff, dude. We didn't know what we were doing in our relationships, and then
No one knows what they're doing in relationships.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much, and then ever since then, pretty much been dating for the last 6 years. So, but
Whose side?
no,
Yeah.
no. All right, Jackie, your turn.
Me?
Hey.
I thought we were going to do.
Oh, are we?
Now we're going boy, girl, boy, girl.
Yeah, boy,
I'm
girl,
down
boy,
with
girl.
Yeah.
There's only 2 girls here.
No,
That
no,
is
it's
fine.
two.
Ethan
It's
and
two
I-
matched. I don't
yeah.
count.
Oh, fine.
I don't have a relationship. Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, fine. I met Dylan when it was my last year of USC, and it was at USC camp. It was like the weekend of Valentine's Day. So my last year, that was, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago. And I met Dylan through Mary. So we like went to Westminster because they were giving out like Girl Scouts cookie and like iced tea. And so we went over there, and then Dylan came walking over, and I was talking to Mary, and Mary's like, "Oh, by the way, this is Dylan, Christine's ex." And I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And then I totally ignored him because I was like, why do I need to know who Christine's ex was?
Wow.
But apparently Mary knew that he liked me. So, but I didn't know. I didn't pick up any cues, but apparently he was pursuing me since he met me that day. And
Wow. Damn.
I know, right?
I didn't know the man's was so intense, dude.
So like,
No,
what kind of
he-
stuff would he do that like to pursue you?
So like after he met me, like he hit me up on Facebook. So he
Of
added
course,
me on
of
Facebook.
course, the Facebook.
And then, he added me on Snapchat and then Instagram after, but like we became like super close friends. But he was there for like all of my breakups. Like he was there supporting me. Like because I would talk to him. I'd be like, "Oh, I like this guy," and then he's just like giving me pros and cons, and then I would like date the other guy without me knowing that he liked.
Ooh, yo, dude, you friendzoned his ass so hard.
Okay.
man.
One
Look at the
pro
friend
and like
zone.
10 cons.
I like no, I friend zoned him, and then I family zoned him.
You family zoned him? What the hell does that mean?
Calling him bro.
Did you call him? Oh,
I
you called him a
bro
brother.
zoned him.
You bro
I bro zoned him.
Jackie.
But
Jackie.
he was like there through all my breakups, and like I felt so bad.
This man works so
Like-
hard.
He did work so hard,
I mean, it
but like finally, like when I broke up with my third boyfriend, apparently he was just like, that's it. Like Jackie's not gonna go through any more breakups. So this is the funny part. He didn't actually ask me out. Like he didn't say, Jackie, will you be my girlfriend? We kind of like went to the movies, and then like we kind of just decided that we're just gonna start dating, like mutually. We're like, oh, so we're
see.
dating now, and he's like, yeah, I guess. And that happened like my senior year.
Impressive.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guys use that same tactic where they try to be there for the girl when she's going through a breakup, and that's when they make the move.
They make the
Dude, yeah, he's
Dude,
been through
man's
all
waited 3
three
times,
breakups.
dude.
He went through it
3
3 times. He suffered.
Yeah, that's how you
Nah,
know.
Mans
that
wasn't
he's
suffering, bro.
committed.
He was waiting for the right moment, dude. He was just like, nah.
Dude, there was no.
Such a common tactic.
For real though.
I mean, it worked for him.
It worked.
It worked, but he got to suffer first.
Would you recommend that tactic to other guys?
Would you
No,
recommend that tactic?
please don't do that. Please, please don't do
That's
that.
not.
No,
That's. I don't think that's a good tactic, anyways.
no,
Like,
because
It's not,
at one point, like after I broke up with my second boyfriend, he like there's a time I wasn't dating, and I was just like, oh, like should I start dating again? Because I was like, oh, I'm hurting, but I'm not hurting that much anymore.
contemplation.
And like he was just like, I don't know how he told me, but he was just like, I like you. And I was like, I like you too.
Oh.
The friend zone in me. Ethan's mad. Ethan's mad.
Alright, who's
Alright,
next?
your turn.
Alright. Mine's pretty simple. I met her on a dating app. I'm not gonna say which one.
Ooh.
I met a dating app.
Only farmers only.
Christian
dating-
Mingle. Christian Mingle.
No, not that. Not that. So yes, I met her. So we matched, and then so I see her. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, okay. So I need to figure out my opening line.
Oh.
So the only thing she wrote in her bio was Sagittarius.
Oh,
so
same.
I'm like-
Same.
So I'm also a Sagittarius. So my first line was, well, you're Sagittarius. I'm Sagittarius. I'm pretty sure that means we're meant to be. So that was my opening line, and it worked. Right?
Smooth
I
pickup line.
I didn't know anything about.
You gotta start taking notes.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about like the astronomical whatever that stuff is. I don't know anything about that. I just said it randomly and hoped that it was correct, but it worked. So pretty much, we started talking on the app for about a week, and then so after about a week, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to get her number. But I'm gonna do it subtly, and so the way I did it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get some In and Out. Here's my number. If you want to keep talking, hit me up. So I like to do this thing where I put I give them my number and I put it in their hands. So if they're interested, they'll hit me up. If they're not, then I'll know. Right? So she ended up texting me. Then we moved away from the app. We started texting. And then after about another week, so about 2 weeks in, then I was like, hey. Oh yeah, by the way, she went to UCR and I was going to Fullerton at the time. So one day I was like, oh hey, do you want to grab Korean barbecue? And then we just met up on a random Sunday at like 5 p.m. We got Korean barbecue, and then we were just talking like the whole night, and it was good. Pretty simple, nothing crazy, no drama.
Yeah, it's so simple. I wish.
It was just straight up. You meet, you talk, you meet up.
Wow. It's very standard.
Simple.
Ethan,
That's a
take
good
notes.
Take
Yeah.
notes. All right.
Yeah.
I
Just
was
be direct. My advice would just be direct. Stop playing games.
Yeah.
Nobody has
How-
time for games.
True.
Give
Honestly.
them the
how
power.
was
Give them your number first.
how was online dating? Because I guess that's becoming like more of a prevalent thing, and like I don't really have that much experience at all with like online dating. So like, how was that for you?
I guess is like for a guy, I would say if you match with someone and you're the one that's making the opening line, you have to make that line stand out. They have matches that are way higher than yours, and they have guys lining
Facts.
up for them. So if you want to stand out, you need to make that opening line count, or just do something simple or something better than just a hi or how you doing, because that's just boring. And I also realized that girls like guys that are fun or interesting. So if your opening line is just a hi or hello, that's not interesting and that's not fun. So just throwing that out there. If you're gonna message a girl, just make it.
All right.
Just do something a little bit different.
All right. Taking notes. Taking notes.
So like, how do you open like when you match with someone? Like, how do you open? Like, I know that like the running meme on right now is like, oh yeah, you start with like a pun, but then I feel like everybody does that, and then that's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so
It's just like that's like the meta, but then like you don't want to follow the meta. You need to be like one step further than the meta.
True.
You know what I
True.
mean?
so what I do is I like to be witty, and so I either make a witty line based on her bio or based on a picture.
Wow.
So that's be based on whether it's not just like a random pun. It has to be something that she either posted or something she wrote on her bio.
Dang.
It has to relate.
Caitlyn, Jackie, what do you think of this?
I think that's pretty accurate. Like if you do something that catches their eye, like if you comment on something and you're like quick thinking, like that's pretty good. Like don't do like corny jokes. Like that won't work. Everybody hears that. But like if you do something like Boo, like something like on her comment or her bio that's witty, like that's pretty good. Cause there's not a lot of people like that. Like either you're kind of like cocky or like you're kind of boring or like corny. You're like following the flow, I guess.
Wow.
Like yeah,
I
you know.
see. I see.
Yeah, because every match you get, they're probably getting like 20 times.
True.
I don't know.
That's just
Never
the
tried online
reality.
dating.
Don't.
That's just the reality of it is for guys versus girls in online dating. It's reality.
It is.
But yeah, so we met up and then we met up a few times and then she stopped using. Damn it!
We'll
Edit that out. Edit that out.
Alright.
Exposed.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Exposed.
After about a month and a half, we both stopped using dating apps.
Aw.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you guys make it official? Like,
So we
Did
weren't.
you ask her?
So I asked her, yeah, but we weren't official until like 6 months in. So okay, so the second
so
time
it's
we
like
met up,
exclusive but not official?
yeah. So the second date we went on, she told me straight up, she's like, "Hey, oh yeah, we're both in college. We're seniors at this time, and we were about 2-3 months from graduating." So she told me, "It's like, hey, I'm just gonna tell you that after I graduate, I'm going to Texas the day after for a 1 year long internship." And she said that she doesn't plan to bring anything over to Texas, as in she doesn't plan to bring over a relationship to Texas. I'm like, okay, cool. So my response was like, okay, that's fine. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, and if you still feel that way by the time you leave, then that's fine. And then she's like, okay, that's fine. So then, yeah, so she graduated. She went over to Texas. But the night before she left, I called her up. I was like, hey, so I think like this thing we have, I think I like it. I think we compatible. We match each other a lot. I was like, do you want to try long distance? And she's like, okay, yeah, we'll try. And so she went to Texas. So this was about 3 months in. So when she was in Texas, we FaceTime a lot. We texted a decent amount. And then after about 3 months in Texas, she came over. We planned a trip in San Diego. And then that's where I asked her to be official.
Oh,
Wow.
So
So we weren't special until 6 months in.
So you like changed her mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a commitment. 'Cause, like, long distance is not easy. So and like the idea is just intimidating to everyone. But yeah,
Understandable.
so 6 months,
Glad you guys
longer
made
than
it
most.
work though.
Yeah, so it ended up working out.
what's the key for making? I mean, how did you handle a long distance relationship?
Well, I think a lot of it is just one is the trust, one is another is communication, and three is just being, I guess, kind of like confident in yourself in your relationship. Because the thing with long distance, like I feel like the biggest problem with long distance is that someone is gonna become insecure and they're gonna become kind of like they start thinking the other person is gonna do something. So I think the communication helps, but it also makes sense to just be confident in yourself and just be confident that like you know them well enough that they won't be doing that. Like I feel like if you have to worry about that, that's already a red flag if you need to worry. And I also have the mentality that if someone's gonna cheat on me, I'd rather have them do it sooner than later. So I'm like, if you want to go out, you go ahead. But you cheat on me, that's done. But if you are gonna cheat on me, like do it today.
Facts.
So that's my mentality. Just do it as soon as possible if you are gonna do it.
Dude does not have time to play games.
Yay.
And then for you three, since you guys, well, except for maybe Ethan, since you guys are not in a relationship, what was your
I think
last?
it's important to focus on yourself. I think that honestly, like you can't be in a relationship with anybody if you're not like comfortable with yourself and know everything that you want first. So yeah. So but I can talk about my first relationship, which is like the worst story in the world.
Yes, yes, yes. Let the story come.
It's not the worst, but it's pretty like it's a pretty typical high school relationship. Like I was a sophomore and he was a senior, and it was the whole thing where like we were texting and then like we were friends, and then he told me he liked me, and he was actually the first boy who ever told me that he liked me. So I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, like boys like me? Like what? I was so shocked, and he was older too, so you're like, oh, okay, like he's cool. He has a car. He can like drive me
He has
around.
keys.
Yeah,
He has, he,
You got the wheels.
he's a what's that thing
Yes,
called?
the wheels. Like,
The thing that holds the keys.
Lanyard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lanyard.
yeah.
oh yeah, he had a lanyard, and it was really nice. Like I think that for it was like a good relationship in terms of like we really did care about each other and we talked a lot and we were just there and we supported each other. We met each other's families and like people liked him and I liked him too. He liked me, I guess. It was, like a typical high school relationship. And then because he was a senior the next year, he ended up going to college. And so like we started doing the long distance thing. But I'm really bad at texting in general. So and it wasn't easier back then because like I had a little chocolate, so it takes longer, you're like typing all the buttons. Like if you say hi, it takes like 4 clicks, you know what I mean? Like not like today. Kids have it easy today.
True.
But yeah, we were texting, and I think like what they were saying earlier about long distance relationships, it is really like you have to be really secure in the relationship because if you're not, like it just won't work out. And that was what happened with him. So he was like worried because I wanted to go to dances, and of course it's hard to go dances with him because he's out of he was only in San Diego, but he was a little bit further so he couldn't come back to go to dances with me. And then he wouldn't even let me go to a dance with my best guy friend at that time, who was Bruce, if you guys know him.
Bruce.
Yeah, he wouldn't even let me go to a dance with Bruce. Like, he was really threatened by him.
Really?
And so, yeah, so I was just kind of like, I told him I didn't really think it would work out. So what actually happened was my mom drove me down to San Diego because I did like tell him over text that it wasn't working out, but then my mom told me like, oh, that's not good. Like, you should really tell him in person and just like face each other, and just so you guys can get some closure and like move on. So she drove me down to San Diego and like sat in the parking lot when I walked up to his dorm, and I told him like how are you doing? Like, are you okay? I hope that we can still, be friends, like the very cliche stuff. And then he was like, I'm okay. And it turns out that he was really sad just because it is a breakup. It's hard to go through breakups. But like the worst part about it was his finals week. So it turns out like I had come and visited him and broken up with him right before he was going to take his finals.
Caitlyn, my G.
I know. I didn't know. Like I was
My
in
guy.
high school, so like it's different.
You did the man
Yeah.
so dirty, bro.
And then and then he walked me down. He like said bye to my mom, and like we just
Gentleman.
like drove off
A
together. Like bye. But it was definitely an experience. And then there's always like that awkward moment after like you guys break up where it's like, oh, do you like keep all the stuff that like he gave me, or do I like send it back? And so I remember I had a bunch of his stuff and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna drop this off for you. He's like, no, you can keep it. And I was like, no, that's okay. Like,
Oh,
things.
what was the stuff
like-
though? If you don't mind me
It was a
asking.
bunch of like, yeah, it was a bunch of like sweaters, yeah, jackets,
Oh, yeah, dude.
and it was like
The
a
stuff we
lot.
steal.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stuff that I
Don't belong
stole.
to you.
The
Yeah.
stuff we
Yeah.
steal.
Yeah.
That I bought with my hard-earned money.
Right. I'm like, wouldn't you want that stuff back? Like, I would definitely, if it was me and like someone was breaking up with me, I would definitely want my stuff back if
Nah,
they had
that's memories
stolen
for
a
him.
bunch of stuff. Yeah.
True.
So like,
Facts.
I remember I dropped off all his stuff in a bag in front of his house, and I was like, okay, like here's your stuff. Just let me know if you need anything. And then he came back and he dropped it back off at my house like the same day, and he was like, oh no, like I want you to have it. And I was like, okay. So now I just have a bunch of sweaters.
Oh, you still have them?
Well, like I don't want to throw them away. Like that's really,
Dude,
They're
why
nice
don't you throw
sweaters,
my
man. They're
quality
nice
jackets,
jackets.
yeah.
Hey man, dude. If
Like I
Okay,
stole
but-
them for a reason, you know.
The fact that he drove back the same day.
dude, that means he doesn't want the memories, bro.
No, that means he
Yeah.
wants her to think of him.
Oh, right,
Like
right.
you keep it every time you look at it, you remember me.
Wow, that's like that's 5 head, bro.
Caitlin's like, no, I
Yeah.
just like the sweaters and jackets. They feel nice.
You got good
They
taste
were
in
really
jackets,
nice.
bro.
Do you wear them?
I don't wear them anymore, but I used to.
The heck do you do
Actually,
with them
after we
now?
broke up, I didn't really wear them, just because it's like I think once you already like, I was already at that point where like I knew that he wasn't the one, you know. So yeah, I think it's definitely trust your instincts, and if
So-
if you feel something, like don't lead someone on, and just it's very painful to go through breakups, but
Are they just
it's
in
like
your
best
closet
for
now?
both people if they're not invested. Yeah, they're in my closet.
Bro,
Do you guys
dude.
want any sweaters?
Hey, word, hey, down, hey, give me some.
I'm kind of down to take some.
I'm kind of down
I'm
too.
kind of down too.
He
Not
was
gonna
like,
Dude, what if we run
He
into
might
them? What if we run into like me and Caitlyn, Antu, and Andrew just walking with Caitlyn, and then he happens to just walk by and he's like, "That's my
Are they all
hoodie."
wearing my sweaters?
Yeah, it's like, wait, that's my hoodie too. Why are all these 3 men wearing my hoodies, bro?
we will always remember Caitlyn's ex
Yeah.
when we wear those sweaters and jackets. We will remember him for
And we
you.
will remember his great
Oh my
charity
gosh.
work, dude.
His memory, like, he won't be
It
forgotten.
won't be forgotten.
Alright.
Oh man.
Wait, what?
That's good.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that was my story. So it's definitely a very typical high school relationship, and I'm sure like a lot of people kind of have that experience where, like you start out as like in high school it's really easy to tell someone that you like them, and it's really easy to just like date them because you see them every day, and dating's really like, oh, like let's have lunch together, like let's walk to third period together,
Really?
you know.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, like I think relationships are a little bit more than that.
They should be. They should be.
Yeah.
I think one of my high school teachers said that high school relationships are good for knowing what you don't want. And I was like,
Pretty accurate.
Yikes, dude. That
Pretty
means
solid.
I'm behind, bro.
They're so straightforward.
High school.
Solid advice.
High school is the great filter.
great filter.
Damn, dude.
You got to filter out what you like, what you don't like. I mean, it's a trial period. Like if you're listening to this and you're like 16, 17, like I met plenty of people in college. Like you're gonna grow up and you're gonna meet plenty of people when you go to college or like you go to work and things like that. It's not high school is just like not the end of it. There's like plenty of other things out there. So it's not like the end of the world. My advice is just like if you're, I'm not saying like just get into every single relationship, but like getting into some relationship and like trying to figure out what you want and what you don't like, and like it's a good experience overall. Like I don't think going through my exes and things like that, like I don't if I were to just immediately jump. So like remember like that first year, me and Julie dated other people, right? So like I think me and Julie just started dating right away, we definitely wouldn't have lasted. For sure, 100%. We definitely would not have lasted. I think me and Julie, we learned because those were kind of like our first real like we're gonna actually take our relationship seriously, and then like yeah, so we like both learned a lot. Like I don't think we would have survived if we just started dating immediately. Like after the first couple months, if we started dating, we wouldn't have made it.
Do you guys count middle school relationships?
They do not count.
No.
Bro,
They do not count, dude.
No,
Dude.
honestly, I don't.
Dude.
No middle school.
Dude. Daryl. I remember when Daryl was in like 7th and 8th grade. Every time he would just come. Sometimes he would come over and he would just complain about like his friends' relationships. Like, oh my, they broke up again. Like this guy hugged another girl and then she was complaining. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter, dude. It's like who cares? Middle school relationships don't count, man. And anyways, this podcast is for like high schoolers, so like it shouldn't really matter.
So thumbs up if you agree that a guy should have to pay for the first date, or thumbs down if you disagree with that statement. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay.
Okay, I see.
No, why am I the only one?
Buddy is tight, dog.
You gotta go first.
Hold up. Alright. If you can't even afford to pay for the first date, like, you shouldn't have a girlfriend, bro. Like,
Nah.
that's
Hey,
all I'm saying.
objection.
That's all I'm saying.
Objection.
That's all I'm saying.
Nah, dude, nah.
Alright, what?
Because
What's
I
up?
feel like now these days people like like it's an equal playing field. People are more independent, right? Okay.
Gender equality?
Yeah, dude. People have money, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but here's the thing, dude. Like, you should if you want to go ahead and pay the full ticket as a guy, go ahead, man. Your call. But then like if you want to split it, there shouldn't be a problem, right? And if the girl wants you to pay the full ticket, even though you want to split it, I have a feeling that that person is basing the relationship or her interest off of like that you have money, or like that's one of the factors that she's into you, or she's gonna base the
Yes.
relationship off of that.
But you're telling me on the first date you're not gonna offer to actually take the bill?
No.
Like, yeah, you can be willing. Yeah, wait, hold up. You can be willing
it's
to
like-
like split it, but you actually have to grab for it first, right?
It's like Ethan grabs the bill and then he hands it to the girl right away.
Dude, no, dude. I don't know. I feel like splitting the bill is like a great way to like form that partnership, because it's like you're not the one like freaking like commanding it the whole time. Being like, I pay for everything, but it's like it's a joint operation.
But
Alright,
then
my
Ethan
Caitlyn.
doesn't change.
reasoning.
Like,
Oh, go ahead. Someone go.
oh, I was
Oh, Caitlyn, you can go.
okay. I was just gonna say, Ethan, does it change if like that girl also been on multiple dates where the guy has been paying for the first
Like
date?
free dates,
Yeah.
Oh,
free
okay.
meals.
So
I
if
see.
you're like, you see, like, if it's just you two and like you guys are the only ones seeing each other, and then you're like, okay, yeah, let's split. But some girls, like, what if they're going out with multiple guys and then they're all getting paid, and then you're gonna be the one guy who she's like,
Dude, that's her
like-
problem, man. Dude, if she don't want to have that that agreement or relationship, or that back and forth, dude, then it's like it's not the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it's like a new experience for her, anyways, dude. Like dude, if we split the bill,
Yeah.
she's like, oh,
All I'm
What does this
saying,
guy
you gotta
want?
at least grab for that bill on the first date.
Dude, my reasoning isn't even like money based. I think whoever asks the other person on a date should pay. So
Agreed.
if I ask like the guy on the date, like I'll pay. If he asks me, he should pay. Like
oh,
I don't think
okay.
money is supposed to be the problem. I think like whoever asks should pay. Or that's just me.
good.
Wow. See,
That's a
see,
That's a
Same
good
answer.
rule.
That-
I would
that's
agree. I would agree if girls ask
Wait,
guys out.
can I ask you a question, Jackie? When was the last time you asked a guy out on a date?
Wouldn't that be just
2
like
weeks ago?
yeah? Wouldn't that just be like
2 weeks
asking
ago.
Dylan out on a date?
No, before you started dating Dylan.
Yeah, they asking.
Good question. Good question.
Never.
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Good question.
I have a
That's
playbook.
what I thought.
I have a logbook, dude. I'm looking through it, and it's like zip, zero, none.
Okay, I'm just saying, okay? It's a good rule.
He's over here like, whoever asked a
Wait,
date,
whoever asked for
never asked a guy in your life.
I never said never.
I meant before Dylan.
yeah before I feel like you formed that like when you were in a relationship with Dylan, because that sounds like a very in relationship agreement. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey,
You're not wrong. You're not
hey
wrong.
man, you asked me out, Jackie,
Yeah,
to this
yeah,
coffee
you guys
date.
are
You should
already in
pay.
a relationship. Like splitting
Okay,
the check is already
For
established.
anybody out there, then, just I'm just giving advice. I think.
Andrew, did you have something to say?
No, I was waiting for Caitlyn, and then
Oh.
or circle back, and then. But me?
No, I didn't. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Me? Dude, I don't remember the last time I asked like a girl out on like a first date. That's like it's so because this is like I did like me and Julie like when we started asking each other out, like we were just seeing each other pretty regularly. Like we saw each other on campus, so it wasn't like, hey, do you want to like go out? It was like, hey, do you want to get like tacos or something like that?
Tacos?
Like midnight run to go get tacos. Like, hey, let's go to Taco Bell and get like a munchie meal or something. So it wasn't. I don't know. Like,
See, that's
I don't
why I feel
remember
like,
what I did.
I feel
But like,
relationships should start out like that.
but like, I guess for me, like in the more formal, like, hey, do you want to go out on a date with me? I think like my personal expectation is that I would want to hopefully go out with someone who can help pay for things, right? So for me, if I'm looking for like if I'm just like dating just a date, like I don't really care if I pay or not. But if I'm looking for like a very like long-term serious commitment, I would hopefully, maybe I would grab the check first and be like, oh yeah, I'll pay for it, and then hopefully I would be hoping that she would come in and it's like, no, it's okay, we can split. Like for me, that's like a flag. Like if she's not gonna be like, oh yeah, like no, it's okay, like I can help pay my half. That means I know that she's ready to step into like this relationship or like whatever, and she knows, like at least for her side, like I would want my partner to be capable of taking care of her own stuff. So that's for me, that's a good sign that like if she's willing to say like no, I can split the check with you. That's a good sign for me and be like, okay, we can go to the second date now. I mean, if I pay the whole thing, like I don't really care because I have a job now. But back then, I would probably, I'd be probably kind of like a little bit mad that she wouldn't offer to split halfway. But that's just me. So
That is like a turn off. Like when like the check comes, you know. Like only one person grabs it, you know.
Caitlyn, do you want to go?
Was I? Oh, are we talking about like our votes?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I like little bit what you were saying, Andrew, like how it's a sign of commitment. So I think like it's a really nice gesture if a guy offers to pay for everything. It does make a girl feel nice. Like it makes you feel like, oh, you're getting treated, you know, like the guy really values you and he's willing to like pay for you and put like money into it. But at the same time, yeah, if you're capable of paying, it's good to show that you're willing to go that extra mile in the relationship. And also like it's not just about being treated, but it's also like reciprocating that. And like it goes both ways, you know? Like even though I think a lot of people always expect like the girl to be treated, but what about guys? You know, like they deserve to be treated too. Am I
Yes.
right, guys?
Yes.
But yeah. But it definitely is like if a guy does pay the first date, it's kind of showing. I think also it shows like the guy's interested, you know? Because if they want to split, then maybe they also just see you as a friend too, and it's like, oh, we're just hanging out as bros. But then if they offer to pay, it's very obvious like that's their intention. Like, oh, this is a date. Like I'm gonna treat you out. So I think that's why like girls like it. But I definitely think it's okay to pay. You should at least offer and split.
Hey, bro, we're splitting the check, right?
Don't bros on them.
Hey man, hey
That's
man,
what I'm saying,
we're
like,
splitting the check, bro. Hey, we got $40 each, my guy.
Hey, bro, can you Venmo me?
Hey,
So you ordered the
so, hey, you ordered the extra tuna rolls, right? Hey man, that's you.
You got the refill in your drink.
That's an extra 50 cents. But yeah, I definitely think that it's they should split it, but I see why girls like it because it does definitely show like that they're interested and it makes the intentions really clear. Yeah. What about you, Sue? What do you think?
I agree with Jackie. I think it's whoever asked should be the one who offers to pay. So I'm like, okay, because if a girl asks a guy out, like if a girl asks a guy out and then she expects him to pay, like I don't see how that makes sense. Like how do you ask someone out and expect them to pay? So that's why I agree that it should be whoever asked. But I would still offer. But if the girl insists that the guy always pays in the first date, that's a red flag for me. Because so by the time when I met my girlfriend, it was 2016, and I was like, if a girl always expects the guy to pay for the first date, I'm like, okay, that's a red flag to me because I don't date no princess. It's 2016, I don't date princess. Right?
You say 2016.
So it's 2016. Women are fighting for equality, and that's not equality. Right? So I don't date no princess. But the way, yeah, but so on my first date with my girlfriend, so when the check came, we both went for it. So she offered to pay, I offered to pay, but we actually didn't split. I ended up paying because I was like, okay, we both want to pay. How about we do this? We play credit card roulette. So we both put a credit card down. I handed them both to the waitress. I was like, pick one. She picked my card, so I paid.
That's
like, okay.
fun. I like that.
That's a good idea.
That's scary
Yeah.
if you go with a bunch of friends, though.
No, I don't do that with a bunch of
Dude,
friends. Though.
who would do that with a bunch of friends, Jackie? You're crazy.
Dude,
Mixture.
X-Team does, not me.
Are you kidding?
Nah,
Dude,
I don't do that.
dude, I can't imagine that during like freaking Korean barbecue. It's like,
But if you do it on your first date, if both people insist on paying, I would recommend that. If you
That's
don't
smart,
want to ask,
though.
wow.
That's smart.
Take
But that's
notes.
what I
Take notes, kids.
What? So, what do you guys consider red flags, or like for you personally, like what is a big red flag when you're like you're talking to someone, you're getting interested, and then so like what pops out to you, it's like, okay, I should not be like, I should probably just ghost or like tell this person like, hey, I'm not interested in you anymore.
Credit card debt.
True.
Who in his
Is that a question?
Jesus Christ.
Is that a question you ask? You're like, so how much
No,
credit card
no.
you got? Can you pull up that cheese app real quick?
No, like, because like to me, money's a big thing. Money's important, and I'm not trying to date someone that's gonna make me go broke. Or I'm not gonna try and date someone that's gonna drag me down.
True.
Because as selfish as it sounds, money is super important. It sounds selfish, but it's true. So if I meet someone and I find out they have like $20,000-$30,000 in credit card debt,
Damn.
I'm out. I'm just out.
20,000-30,000 is a lot.
How does that?
I
How
think-
does
But
that
like
even happen though?
it happens.
It happens, yeah. If they're, maybe they're just not taking their career or life seriously, and they're just opening up credit cards left and right, man. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it happens. They max out, and then they just move on, open a new credit card, and just keep going down. They just build interest. Like these credit card interest rates, like, dude, it's like 20-30%, man. It's crazy.
I can't do that, man. Freaking video games, like taught me to like I can't spend my resources, dog.
No, it's not just credit card. It's just being financially irresponsible. That's a big red flag.
True.
Financially
Mhm.
irresponsible.
Do you
Then
look
you-
at their purchase purchases? You're like,
No, but I just look at their lifestyle. I'm like, if they work a minimum
That's
wage
true.
job, but they drive a BMW, I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Who can
Yeah,
tell
numbers
if they're a
don't-
spender or a saver?
oh, word.
That's his
Hey,
power.
am I a
Just look at
spender too?
overall lifestyle. Like overall lifestyle. That's all.
Dude's vision, it shows up like little price tags
Oh
on
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
and
He has
it's
like stats.
like the numbers in
He
his
looks at a
head.
person. It's like.
I think a big red flag for me is like, I think I tend to notice the little things. It's just like, oh yeah, like I'm thirsty, and then it's like, oh, let me go grab you a cup of water. Like I wouldn't expect the other person to grab if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, like I'm thirsty, or like, hey, I need to go pick this up. I wouldn't expect the other person to do that. It's like my chore, my errand, or like how I take care of myself. But if the other person's like, yeah, it's like, oh, let me do that for you. Let me go pick that up. Like just the little small things like that, like going out of their way to do something for me is like a huge green flag. And then it's like the opposite, right? If I notice that like, hey, they're like kind of just like, I say like, oh, I need to go pick up this thing, but I'm like really busy. Like, it just comes up a natural conversation or something like that. And then they don't really like offer to help do some of those errands for me, then I just kind of like, oh, whatever. But that's like really far down a relationship, I guess. It's not like during the dating phase, but for me, that's like a huge red flag. Like I take being kind and just going out of your way to do stuff like very seriously. So that's a big red flag. Like, but that's like you don't usually find that stuff out until like 7-8 months into a relationship. So
That's
but
access service.
yeah, I'm a big access service guy. Yeah, that's my love language. For those of you who don't know, there's a website, love language, 5 love languages. You take a quiz and it spells out everything for you.
Let me
So-
take that right now.
Dude, that could be
Not sponsored.
Sure, mine is like, wait, what are the love languages?
It's like
I don't even.
I
call
got
each
it
other
pulled up,
name.
dog. I got it pulled up.
I got it pulled
Yeah.
up.
Okay, so it's words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
I have a question for Caitlyn and Jackie. Does the friend zone exist? Is there
Yes.
an actual friend zone?
I
Or are
think
they
it
or you just
exists.
not is it because like is it like you just don't like them and you put them there, or is this something they did? As in like once they're there, is it possible to get out? Or is there even a zone? That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
Okay, for me, yeah, there's a friend zone. There's also a family zone. I think you can get out of both. Dylan did.
Hey man, dude, he had a long catalog, bro.
Okay, for me, like you're in the friend zone because like I like you as a friend and I can't see like I can't imagine you romantically. Like that's why I put you in a friend zone.
question.
Because like I can't see me romantically dating you.
Okay, I have a
Yeah,
question about
you
that.
feel?
So, do you not see yourself being with them romantically because they're not fun enough for you? They're not interesting enough.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Wait. What was the question? What was the question?
So, do you not see yourself being in a relationship with them romantically because they are not fun or interesting enough?
I feel like that's every relationship, though, right? Or like some like a meaningful relationship, right?
Well, so I'm getting to the point where. Oh, sorry, Caitlyn. I want to hear your opinion.
Yes.
For
Me or
me,
you?
I
Oh.
I don't really like. I'm sure that I've friend zoned some people, but I think it's a really fine line, right, between like a friendship and a relationship. And then, if a person isn't like really upfront about what they want, then like, can you really blame a girl for not like reciprocating those feelings, right? So I think unless someone like straight up tells you, oh, like I really, really like you, like, and I want to be in a relationship with you, and then I'd be like, oh, I don't see you that way, like we're just friends. That would be like considering, that's what I would consider friend zoning. And like it hasn't really happened that much for me. But I do think that there's a point where when someone like when you see someone a certain way, it's really hard to like change that like perception of them, especially if you already have an established relationship. But I think that it is possible, like what Jackie said. I think it's definitely possible because people change and like feelings change and people grow into different people. But I do think that like technically the friend zone only exists if the guy like straight up says, hey, like I want to date you, and then the girl says, sorry, like we're just friends, you know?
That's
Ouch,
true. It's
ouch.
the friend zone's only for guys who like you. And then you put them
Yeah.
in the friend zone. You know, it's not like every guy, you know.
Wow,
Okay,
crazy.
so the
mean,
point was the
like,
point where I was trying to. Sorry, go ahead on.
no, I'm sorry. Like, if they didn't like you, they wouldn't be put in the friend zone. Like, they're already friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the point what I'm trying to get is like, it's like like the phrase like "nice guys finish last,"
Niga Higa,
as in
2010.
like all if you're a nice guy, you're automatically in the friend zone, right? So I was thinking about that. I was like, so I don't think it's because you're nice that puts you in the friend zone. It's because you're just boring to them.
Ooh,
That's ultimately what it is. You're just not interesting and fun enough to be out of that friend zone.
I
It's
feel
not
it.
because you're
Wow.
nice, right? So like obviously, if you meet a guy, he's fun and interesting, he wouldn't be put in that friend zone.
I think
What do
there's
you?
like a lot of factors to like want to be in a relationship with someone, and if someone doesn't necessarily hit all those factors, like it's just not, you're not gonna look at that person in that way, you know? Like if you're not interested in them, if you're not like, if they don't, because everybody looks for a different thing in a relationship. I would say like relationships are very personal. It does depend on the person. So if you're just not clicking in that way, like they probably aren't gonna like get out of that friend zone.
It's just like the stalker theory, you know? Like, he's only a stalker because he's not attractive. If he was attractive, it's just like if like someone like dropped off a present for you and you knew like a surprise or something, and you're like you're not very attracted to that person, you know? You're just like, dang, this guy's like, or this person's like stalking me. It's kind of weird. But if you're like mildly interested in that person, you're like, oh, it's so cute, you know? It's like a total 180.
I definitely had that experience in college where after I went to like a discussion, and then afterwards this guy like kind of followed me to my car and was walking with me, and I thought it was the weirdest thing because I was like, oh my gosh, like why are you following me? And he ended up like following me to some of my classes too, and I like would see him like in the class that he wasn't even in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have a stalker. But I think that if I was interested in him at least like a little bit or at all, I probably would have perceived it really differently. Like I would have been really excited to see him. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like he's here in my class. Like what are the odds?
Why is he
But because
here?
it-
You know.
Yeah, but because it was the other way, it was like kind of creepy. So there's definitely some truth to that.
What makes a person interesting? Because a lot of you say that like, oh yeah, he's in, you know, the first like this person would be straight up and in this, you know, if they're boring or whatever, right? They get friend zone even though they're nice. So what to you makes a person interesting? I mean, everyone's answer is gonna be different because everyone has different factors and interests and stuff like that. But what do you mean by interesting?
I want to hear from you, Andrew.
Me?
Yes.
He asked the question. You're like,
Reverse card. Reverse card.
It's like, no, you.
Yeah, I created my trap card.
Activate.
For me, what makes a person interesting is they have hobbies. They like not necessarily know all the ins and outs. Like I wouldn't expect a person that like, oh yeah, they know how to play guitar, and then they're like a rock star or they like produce music. But it's just something they like to. I think is just having hobbies and building up that personality. I think like having hobbies, doing things you like, whatever it is, it's like going hiking, volleyball, whatever you want to do, gaming too. I mean, I know that's a turnoff for some people, but I think if it's just like if you know your craft and you know like the hobby that you're in, and that helps build your character up, and then that makes you interesting because you have a lot to talk about, or like, oh yeah. But I think it's not just like being only a gamer, right? It's also like you have to have a lot of different aspects too and like make it well balanced. So like, hey, you know you're a food guy too, or hey, you play sports, right? You play volleyball, basketball, football, whatever. So being multifaceted and having a bunch of different, not necessarily like having a bunch where you're not really good at anything, but just having like maybe 4 or 5 that you practice on a daily basis or something like that makes you an interesting person, because that you can always talk about, then you'll always have something going on in your life to bring up. So that, at least that's to me, that's interesting. What is a good first date?
Oh,
Arcade.
dude. Okay, hold up.
What is a good first
There
date?
has been controversy
Okay.
on social media
the-
about is whether getting coffee a good first date,
Why is that a controversy?
or not a controversy, like a heated debate.
I'm
Or
not a fan of
Explain.
that. I'm not a fan of just coffee.
yeah, because
Not with the social media, so help explain.
people were discussing where like if a boy takes you out on coffee for a first date, he ain't worth your time. I'm like, like I don't think that's a telltale sign. I think that's a red
Yeah, who
flag.
said that?
Like I don't know, some chick on Twitter, but then there was like
Like,
a
I wanna-
huge, there's like a huge
I want to know the
agreement.
source of this. This
Why?
credible
So
source.
for you two, why did you take Jessica, or like how did you agree to like go to Korean barbecue with her as her
Okay.
first date?
Okay, so my recommendation for a first date is not what I did. Putting that out there. Okay, but it just worked out. So I would not recommend dinner on a first date, but that's what I did. But the reason why I don't is because what if in the middle of it you realize you don't like them? Now you have to sit through appetizer, you have to sit through the entree, you have to sit through everything with someone that you know you're not gonna like. I didn't know this when I first went on that date, but if I did know this, I would have done something different. I would have done an activity like go to an arcade or go bowling or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I recommend something fun.
laser
Yeah.
tag, dude.
yeah.
What-
Or
What about like
exactly.
going on a hike?
Yeah.
Mm,
I think you should do.
I don't know. That
I
kinda-
should think you do like just some type of activity where you guys can bond and talk.
Yeah.
Like, don't do a movie because you're
Dude,
not
okay,
going to
yeah.
talk during a movie.
Yeah, movies are not the vibes.
Dinner is so like do something like fun
I feel
and
like
that you can bond and talk.
yeah, I feel like dinner you're literally you're focused on eating because like you're trying to enjoy your
Yeah.
food, so you don't have time to like talk it out.
And then that way you can avoid who pays for the check.
Ooh, go hiking, bring your own quest bar.
Wouldn't movie be good though? Cause like you find out you don't like them on the like halfway through or something, you can just stop talking.
Well,
and
that's
start
the-
See,
well, that's the
like
thing, though.
during
Well, that's
the
the thing.
movie,
How you
you're
gonna know?
watching
How
the
you gonna know,
movie.
dude?
You're not gonna talk
You'll
to
be like, yo,
them.
Yeah,
be
dude.
like, yo,
Imagine if
they're not reacting the way I want them to.
Yeah, imagine if like your first date was like freaking Endgame, bro. You're like, dude.
But
You're
I'm
crying, they're not.
yeah, like actually I love movies, so like, what if
But
like
you don't talk to them.
Yeah,
I
but
I,
how
I
are you
don't
gonna
think
get to know them?
I think you could bond.
I talk to people during movies.
Oh, you're one of those.
I'm not watching movies with you anymore, dude.
You're one of
I'm not
those.
watching movies.
No, like people don't like watching movies. I will spoil the whole movie for you because
I feel
I
like
was
that's.
just
Oh,
sit
I
there,
hate those.
I feel
I
like
would
that's a
sit there
thing
and
to
guess the
do.
whole movie.
Yeah. I feel like that's
I
something to
was-
do
Why
when
would
you're
you do
in the
that?
relationship. That's like if you're gonna watch a movie, you do that when you're in the relationship. So like you could have like a cool discussion after. But then like during, you want to spend time
Yeah,
with them.
after, not during.
Yeah.
On.
I like movies. I like guessing what happens.
But I'm like, on the first date, I'm like, how am I supposed to refill popcorn 3 times without looking like a pig?
True. I don't do that, but true.
What would be a
Yeah.
good trip?
To the point where like for dinner, like definitely it makes sense where you wouldn't want to commit to an activity for too long if you don't like the person. But technically, like you could leave at any activity. It's just really rude. Like
You could.
if you didn't like someone, you could leave like halfway through the date or like cut it early.
Just, like, I can imagine that, dude. Just in the middle of the laser tag, like, hey man, I got a dip, bro. Hope you get the high score.
We'll just run away.
Dude, one time I asked this girl, well, not really. Like we made plans to hang out, right? And then like we're gonna watch movies at her house or something, and then like she bought food and everything. Her dad was like buying like her dad bought like a bunch of food and whatever.
Damn.
And then I remember like 2-3 hours before I was like, hey, like I can't go anymore. And
Bro,
I was
you did her dirty, my
Dude.
guy. Dude, I would have
One
went,
of
man.
those.
Free
You're
food.
One of
Free
those.
food. I'm going, man. If there's food, I'm going.
Ethan doesn't even care about the girl. He's like, food down.
Hey man, dude, I haven't like crushed for a girl in a long time, man. If there's food, I'm going, man.
I don't know what would be a good first date. My taste is like very introverted. So like for me, like my first date would be like let's go to a museum or something like that, which is like really boring, but
I don't think
that's
so.
like what if a girl was
Fun.
like if a girl was like, "Oh, you want to go to this museum?" I'd be like, "Oh, dude, I already like you already. We're going to places, dude." It's like, that's already a checkbox.
Museums.
You're already
check.
ticked off the list. Yeah, museums check done. But
I mean,
I wouldn't even know like for a first date.
No.
I,
Why
mean,
do
I like
you-
arcades because you can compete.
True. I like that.
I think you're just a very competitive person.
Wait.
No, but I just play. But it's just. I
That's
think
true though.
To me, it's just more fun to play against someone.
Boo likes to compete. He likes to argue. He just likes to
Likes to check
I like
that
to
credit,
challenge.
dog.
I like
He
to
likes
challenge
to
people.
win.
Wait,
he likes a challenger.
Andrew, what do you like? What do you like about like a museum date though?
For me, like I'm
Yep.
very introverted. I do a lot of like, for me, like on top of acts of service, like quality time. I like my acts of service. I think was like 45%, and my quality time is like also 40 to 45%. But in terms of like museum, I kind of like the idea of just like kind of walking together around and being like, what do you think of like again, this is why it's like no it's a very like personal preference. This is something like I would never go to a girl and be like, you want to go to a museum unless she really liked it or like she showed signs that like she really likes going to see art or like things like that or like something that's interesting in a museum. But that's just like for me personally, like if someone were to say like, oh, do you want to go to a museum, I'd be down. I like looking at stuff in museums and like being able to see like, oh, how does this make me feel and talking about that out loud. Like, hey, when hopefully it's not like weird abstract art and you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know what this is.
What is this toilet?
But-
What does this toilet mean, man?
And it's just, but I mean, if it's like, hopefully it's something interesting in that museum and then being able to be like, talk about like how that made you feel and like how you can relate it. I feel like with art and things like that, it comes up a lot like why it's relatable, that this piece of art is relatable to me, so I get to know a little bit more about a person. But again, this is something like they would definitely, I would definitely have to like kind of bring it out of them, like, oh yeah, I'm like kind of artsy or like kind of interested in like looking at this stuff. It is something I would never propose, because I don't think a lot of people like museums on a first date. So that's just my personal opinion. I could be totally wrong. I don't know what you guys think about that.
All right.
I like that.
I
Everybody
dig
got their own
museums.
hobbies. You just trying to find someone you sit with the same interests.
Yeah. But yeah, museums for me.
Museums are interesting.
Jackie.
Like, definitely, I think for the first date, as long as there's like some talking points or like time to talk or just something to talk about, that's like a good time. Because otherwise it can be really awkward.
True,
Especially if
true.
you're like, if you're just trying to get to know someone, and like, let's say you're going on like a long car ride or something, like that might not be like the best option, you know, just sitting in a car with someone that you just met.
What?
I like car rides though. Like I think like just like a long car ride where like you just
For a
drive around and
date?
talk.
To
Dude,
Vegas?
Not for a
heck
first date.
no.
No,
For
no, no,
Vegas?
no.
Hey,
Oh,
no, I don't think
not-
that's good. I don't think that's good on a date, dude.
Part
Not
three.
a first date. Like
Dude.
it would have to be someone like you would like you could talk to you. But
I don't
We're
like
talking about first
definitely
dates,
like not a
though.
first.
I don't
Definitely
like
not a first date
dude, car
idea. But
dates don't make sense,
Like,
man.
oh my gosh, can you imagine someone asking you on a first date, like, hey, you want to drive around in my car for 2 hours?
You're like stuck in their car and you're like, I want out.
Dude, I
Like,
can't, dude. The only
That'd
time
be sketch.
that's like a
what if you have a
thing.
really nice car? Like what if you're like rolling around in like a
Dude,
Lambo or something?
Hell no, dude.
Don't let them take you to the second location.
Dude, my booty's gonna hurt from driving around that long, bro.
We all know second locations are a done deal. So,
Second.
well, thank you for everyone for listening and watching. I hope everyone who's tuning in, they learned something about relationships, given maybe a lot more thought into how they walk into relationships or how they look for relationships. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe. I don't know, whatever this is going on YouTube. Maybe just live in a Google Drive, but whatever it is, follow and subscribe us. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.